say 5 minutes to tell you about something disturbing that I heard yesterday at the dinner table. And that was that there is an effort afoot to immunize children against papillomavirus. And I have been studying papillomavirus for about 2 years already, and it should be preventable. I want to tell you a few things about papillomavirus because we should not be taking antibody shots or anything like that for something that we can prevent and something that has an entirely different cause, because it will be futile ultimately, although it might work for a year, it might work all right for a year or two, but it's not the right answer. And generally when you don't really have the right answer, it doesn't last. We should be doing the right thing. Okay? I am working with a set of papilloma viruses that are mixed. And there are probably about 20 in there. And I don't know if number 16 is in there or not, because I would have to have a pure number 16. And I'm not sure I have that. So I'm working with the group of papillomaviruses. The first thing to know is that they like to grow along a suture line. Wherever you have been cut and sutured is where they like to pop up. They don't necessarily pop up for years and years, but I have read that it's the fastest growing cancer that we have. And I think at the rate that I see it increasing, in 10 years we will have a major epidemic of it. It's caused by a parasite that I haven't talked about, but it is very common. It doesn't cause cancer, and it isn't fasciola, and it's not the other common ones that I have shown pictures of in the books. This one is a brown stick. I can describe it well enough to you to where you can find it. But if some of you would like to come to Mexico in a small group and be shown exactly how to find it, exactly what it looks like, real specimens, and a video on how to find it, you can do that. You can arrange with our office to do that. We have all that already, because I've been concerned about this upcoming epidemic of papillomaviruses too. I just don't want everybody to get the wrong treatment. Now, especially if you do a liver cleanse, that's the time that you could see these. And in fact, that's the best time to see any parasite, because they're all there right in front of you, but you just don't recognize them. You don't know what they are. So we have quite a few different parasites visualized on little videos, DVDs, but we are not selling them, and they're not edited yet. So, but nevertheless, time's a wasting, and if you want to come and see what you can, you're welcome to. They're short. They are brown sticks with a pointed end. Some of them have 2 pointed ends, both of them pointed. Sometimes they all stick together in a long line, so that you can get one that's maybe 3 inches long. Quite a horrendous thing. But in order to make those very big ones, you have to feed them their food, right? Okay, that you learned from the handout yesterday. So I had been busy doing that, and so far it requires 2 foods. Corn is one. I'll think of the other one pretty soon. I have a lot of them in my head. It's not wheat, thank goodness. become chicken eaters, and we dare not touch bit if we're going to try to reduce this parasite and stop the development of warts, these kinds of warts. I don't know which factor it is in the corn or in the chicken, but you need to stop eating chicken because it would take me way too long to figure out the factor.
Is that organic?
I don't know that answer. I wouldn't go near chicken. And I haven't tested eggs yet. It might include eggs, don't know. But we are having quite an attack of them ourselves, where I'm functioning, and that's why I'm pursuing it more vigorously. So now back to the lecture that I was planning for today. I didn't get a handout, so I'm lost. Thank you. Maybe most of you know that I've been on a project from around 1990 to find the cause of cancer, because I accidentally found it at that time, and I had to set about proving it. The way I proved it was taking away the cause and seeing what happens to the cancer victim. And then after seeing that there was a big improvement, in fact, their oncologist would say that it was no longer malignant, then they would, very many such persons would accidentally get it again. And then they would have their malignancy back. And that, I mean, I wouldn't intentionally do that, it would be unethical, but it happened quite frequently, accidentally. So then I would take it away again and see what happened. And again, that same person would be considered free of malignancy. In other words, the tumors would be considered benign or turned into a cyst or something equivalent, shrinking. And I would go a third round, if possible, for that person. So I did a number of those until I was perfectly convinced that I had the cause. I just couldn't identify the cause. It took me several years before I realized, in fact it was 1999 before I realized that it was coming in the water that these people were drinking. All the water is of two kinds in the US and all over the world. There are two big disinfection varieties. All water has to be disinfected. We can't be drinking undisinfected water on a grand scale. But these two kinds of disinfection are so similar in some ways that it's almost like the entire world is going to be drinking the same water. And that is very dangerous. It's very dangerous for the entire world to be doing anything exactly the same. Our safety lies in diversity. That's why we have genetic diversity. The whole function of genes and our kinds of reproduction is to create diversity and have us make a concerted effort to make everything the same is very risky, because if one mistake was made and everybody's making it, there goes the species. We might think that we are very stable here, but we are not. The two kinds have one major distinction, and then about 1,000 more minor distinctions. So the major distinction is polonium content. There is polonium in the majority, by far the majority of our different waters. It's in there accidentally, no doubt, but there it is. And if you send it to a radiology lab, you will get polonium. But the problem is that radiology labs don't want to test for polonium. At least not when I requested. I have no further surmises on that, so I'm looking for other avenues. And polonium is the true cancer causer, the beginning of the true carcinogen, namely the cancer causer. But I didn't know that in 1999. I only knew it was in the water, and the patient's sister or friend sitting beside her who had come as a caregiver and did not have cancer would not have that water. And in fact, I got water samples from everybody. Usually they would bring me about 5 or 6 kinds, different filtered waters and purchased waters and so on. And most of the polonium was coming from the filter that they had put on their system. And it didn't matter if it was the tiniest filter, so small as you would use on the way to the refrigerator, that little water system there. Because everything mixes with everything if it has a chance, such as in water pipes. The little filter that's in front of the refrigerator will mix with something in the back bedroom water pipes. And because the material that brings the polonium is motor oil and wheel bearing grease, it sticks to the walls of the pipes and doesn't come off. It only takes one pass to contaminate them. Going back to 1999, my project was, what is it in the water that is the cause? And at that time, then, I discovered it was in the disinfectant, the chlorination disinfectant. One disinfectant is common Clorox that you find in the supermarket. That is the contaminated one. The other chlorination method is another similar sodium hypochlorite, but made differently from different sources, and they get a part of the market, mostly the industrial, not the popular, and it does not have polonium. It does not have many other things too. It's quite a clean chlorination. But one thing it does have is cyanide. So all the chlorination methods have cyanide. It's called a ferrocyanide. It's either potassium ferrocyanide or ferricyanide. And it took me a couple of years, probably 2001 or so, before I realized, or actually maybe 2003, I realized that in the Clorox variety that has the polonium in it, it also has a different cyanide. It's called potassium ferricyanide, F-E-R-R-I, ferricyanide. And the chlorination that does not have polonium is carrying, wait a minute, that's just backwards. Ferrocyanide is the bad one. That's in the Clorox, so think of the two O's together. The cyanide that's in the other chlorination, you could call it good, but it's just relatively good. It just doesn't cause cancer. It has ferricyanide, so there's ferro and ferri.